Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so I just had a really cool set of dreams, and y'all know how I am. When I have dreams, I want to tell you about them, but this was this was the coolest thing I think I ever experienced. So, first of all, there's several things to try to lead up to help you understand what the heck just happened in the dream. First of all, there's two different dreams. As usual, the first dream that I had, I was in like a hotel, a different hotel, sort of like this one. And I ended up having a situation where I don't know how much of that dream I should tell you. It was a little interesting in nature, but basically it was a woman who was very much into me, and the whole thing went a certain way. And then I ended up having to go into the hotel room, the hotel lobby rather, in front of everybody with my shirt off, and they were making fun of me. And then from there, I had to grab some food from the hotel lobby area. It was very much normal stuff, not really a big time dream in that area of the dream. But from there, I ended up sitting down with some people who were talking to me about something that I don't remember at all. And then I ended up getting up and having to go to my specific room after that. When I went into my specific room, my own little individual room, so it was like a assisted living type of place where everybody kind of gathers around and eats together, goes to the same, bathrooms, but ultimately has their own room. When I went back to my own room, I heard a voice. It was almost like a movie voice. It said, in the deepest, darkest, evilest voice I ever heard, other than like in the movies, like if Scream 3 is coming out, it said, "Thick skull is coming." And I'm like, what the hell? Thick skull is coming? It's like hard head, like a hard head, somebody who's hard headed. So I'm like, all right. And so I wake up. I literally wake up, and in them understanding of waking up, I heard a voice in my head, and it's the same old voice I always tell y'all. This sounds like it's like far away but close. I've mentioned this several times when I wake out of dreams and I hear stuff. It said, "You conjured him when you were deleting pictures." Now, before I went to sleep and had this little hotel dream that's really vague, I didn't want to tell you too much about because it had some interesting stuff going on that you probably don't want to hear about. Before I went to sleep, I started deleting pictures in my Google Photos, and it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, maybe spiritually I might have deleted some or looked at some pictures that might have conjure up some type of spirit. That's what I'm honestly thinking in real life, right? Because I literally deleted like 7,000 photos trying to make room for my backups to take on my art. My art just will not back up because I had so much that was being used in my storage that was basically from like 2011 on. A bunch of bullcrap, memes, garbage, right? And so I deleted most of that stuff to try to make space for the art. So I'm like, okay, I'm a really extremely spiritual person. Maybe, just maybe, I might have conjured up something, since I've been having so many spiritual energies and dreams in this room, people feeling like stuff is getting in my bed, guys showing me Laker games while something else is trying to attack. You guys have heard all these ghost stories that I've had in this room, right? So the voice that had told me thick skull is coming was just another one of those things. And then it was like, okay. And then that little voice said, you probably conjured him up when you were deleting them videos. So I'm like, what the hell is coming? So I started praying about it. And this is me awake telling you this. I started kind of praying. I'm like, Lord, should I be concerned about this? Like, is this like, are you warning me about something? Who is coming? Who's Thick Skull? But like the nickname didn't sound like it was devious. It sounded like somebody who likely has a hard head. That was like a full steam ahead. Can't tell them nothing. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to do regardless. So I'm like, all right, Thick Skull is coming. And I don't know what the hell that means, but I'm just going to pray about it and then go back to sleep. I prayed about it, and eventually Spirit, more or less sent me back to sleep, literally. When I went to sleep again, I found myself basically back in that same hotel area. But the thing about it was, I had my situation where my car was left in some area where these college kids were doing experiments on my car. The first time they had my door open, and what they had ended up doing was taking something out of the wheel area or something like that. They were messing with the wheel area. And I come out there and I'm telling them, look, stop messing with my car, dude. And it was this Asian kid, and he was like, you know what? It's cool, man. I'm here with so-and-so celebrity, and it's cool, bro. Don't worry about it. They're going to take care of it, man. Everything's going to be put back together, and we'll take care of it for you. So I go back. I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. He's like, trust me, dude. We're gonna make sure you have we're gonna take care of it. So I didn't throw a fit. I went back into the lobby area, and it was one of those situations where I saw Bobby Brown performing. The Bobby Brown looked like he had aged backwards about 25 years. All right, Bobby Brown looked about as healthy and as clean as he'd looked since 1987. And he's performing on stage, and it was a great performance. And after the performance ended, and then it was like a situation where the dream flipped into like a bathroom area, but it didn't make no sense at all, because it was a bunch of dudes who were from New York, and they were ragging on each other. It was almost like they were in a cipher for battle rap or something. But it was like satire, because it was like each of them would say something specific. They would have like a little slogan to their name. I'm so and so, and this is what I do. And then they walk out the bathroom, and then another one would say the same, something different, and then walk out, say his name, and then say something different. And I said, man, y'all New York dudes got a slogan for everything y'all do, man. I couldn't be serious with y'all. Y'all have me acting crazy, because I'm going to end up, we in a serious situation. And I'm going to start cracking up at all of y'all, because y'all little slogans just tripping me out. At the end of that little part of my dream, I left that bathroom area. Everybody was cracking up. We were laughing together. And then I went back outside to where my car was. And they were underneath the car. They had pulled some type of stuff. They had propped the car up, probably pulled off the tires, pulled out something from underneath the car. And I'm like, yo, bro. I went back to the Asian dude. Bro, what are you doing with my car? And he was like, bro, it's fine, man. Trust me, we're going to take care of it. I was like, nah, I can't even talk to you. And I walked over. I was like, I'm going to talk to the dude that brought you here. And I walked over, and it was Kobe Bean Bryant. And I'm like, Kobe, what you got these dudes doing to my car, man? And he was like, man, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And I slapped hands with him, gave him a hug, kind of like a man hug where you slap hands with somebody. I was like, Kobe, you 5'10", bro, but don't worry about it, because you're in my head. This is a dream. He was like, that would explain it, bro. And he was telling me something along the lines of, he had a dream himself about Britney Spears. But when the thing about it was, Britney Spears was going to show him her breast in the dream, but instead they were tires, like Hot Wheel tires. Instead, he said she pulled back her shirt and it would be a Hot Wheel tire, and then pulled back the other one, it was another Hot Wheel tire, bro. And we was laughing about that. And I was like, I think it was one of them situations. It was like, all right, man, he had to go. It was like he had to go. I asked him a question. I was like, do you know the big guy? He was like, who you talking about? And I pointed up in the sky. And as soon as I said that, he started to ascend into the sky. Like literally, his body, he was like, oh man, I gotta go. And then he said something along the line. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But he didn't confirm he was going. And he said, I gotta go laundry. That's what he said. I gotta go laundry. And so he ascended into the sky. But as he did, a action figure dropped back down, and it was a girl in Laker uniform, like an action figure in its box, but it was a girl in Laker uniform. And I said something along the lines of, say what's up to Gigi for me. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he came back down real quick after I said that and said something else, and then kind of ascended back up again. And what ended up happening was it had a note attached to the action figure box. And then from there, it had a check for $300,000 in regards to the car. And then I showed some people who were around who were messing with the car. They were like, yo, he left you 300 grand. I was like, yeah, man, for the car. They said they were going to take care of it. And that was pretty much the end of the dream. I woke up and something told me that was Thick Skull. That's the hard head right there. Kobe Bryant was the hard head. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all, man. Kobe Bryant came to me in a dream. He was only my height, but he looked like himself. He sounded like himself. And we were cracking jokes. We were just cracking jokes about Britney Spears' breasts being Hot Wheels. And I kid you not, it was almost as if he came to me in a dream, just like my auntie tends to, where it don't seem like it's a big deal because you end up either in a room with her and a bunch of people, or something along the lines of where it's almost like she's unassuming in the dream. And to me, it was in this situation, it was like I walked over to him. You know, it was a situation that was set up to where I had to go complain to him about somebody he brought to the situation who was messing with my car. And in doing so, it was almost like, it was time for me to like meet him in that way. And it was really cool. And how that correlates with the Google Photos is, of course, there were a bunch of photos that I had from when, throughout the course of 2011, all the way through the passing, and then throughout all the way up until like 2018. I had a bunch of Kobe photos and Laker photos and stuff like that, but I saved a few of them. And so that correlated with you conjured him up when you were going through those photos. So that's what I want y'all to know, man. I had a hell of a dream. Kobe Bryant showed up in my dream. He was real as I'm talking to you right now. I had a preliminary warning that he was coming in the dream previous to. And he called himself Thick Skull. And I know he called himself a hard-headed guy or something back in the day, because he was always so very intent on doing what it is that he was going to do in regards to preparing himself, no matter how much work it took, no matter how hard it was to do what he needed to do. He was always going to push forward. So it made sense that he called himself Thick Skull. And it's one of those situations where I just know that was really his soul that really came to my dream. I could tell it was him, like literally him. It wasn't just somebody pretending to be him or nothing like that. It was his spirit who actually ascended. See what's up with your boy BDF. I guess it's because I do all this Laker stuff, and I think it was meant for me to kind of share this dream with y'all, since I've been having so many ghost stories in this room. It's standing the reason why something like that would be the case. And so I don't know if people think I'm serious or not, but I'm telling you, I'm just waking up out of that dream. It was a lot more to that dream, but it was a little not for the phone. It wasn't to be spoken into. We go keep it family, but let's just say there was a lady who was intent on sharing time with me. And after I ended up getting out of that room with her, that's when I ended up walking into the room and realizing I couldn't keep the shirt that I had on, so I had to take that shirt off. That's kind of how that went. Let you fill in whatever blanks necessary, but that's how that went. And by the way, I'm wearing Laker stuff, man. Like I went to sleep wearing Laker stuff last night. So y'all know how super spiritual I am. Y'all know this ain't the first ghost story I told y'all that happened in this room, but none of them was more dramatic than the voice that came to me before that first dream ended. Thick Skull is coming. And to me, it almost sounds, now that I'm looking at it, it sounded like it was probably him doing a movie voice, because he, of course, did his series and all those different things where he was doing voiceovers, and of course won his Oscar. I think that was his voice telling me he was going to come through in the next dream. And another thing about this that's really interesting is that I never am able to return to the same places in dreams. If I have a dream, my brain is so sensitive that if I turn over, I usually leave the dream I'm in. If I move a little bit, I leave the dream I'm in. So rarely, if ever, have I ever went to sleep, woke up, and then went back to sleep and found myself in the same place. And let alone having something segue from one to the next. It was almost like it's like a two-parter And I woke up and I was up for another 20 minutes before I went back to sleep, trying to figure out what the heck thick skull is coming is actually meaning. Like what that actually meant. So yeah, man, I'm telling y'all, that was really cool. And the funny thing about that thick skull is coming voice is that it didn't feel like something evil. It felt like it was a movie. It sounded like a movie voice, and it's almost like you're watching, as I said, watching Scream or something like that, and they're telling you the next one's gonna come out or something. So it didn't give me the vibes that I needed to be worried about something bad coming my way. It was more so like, get ready for the sequel of the movie. And sure enough, man, a 5'10" Kobe Bryant. He was probably about 6'1". He definitely wasn't his height. I had to explain it to the man too. I'm like, bro, you're 5'10". But don't worry about it because you're in my head. That's all it is. This is just in my head, man. And so that was really cool, man. But him ascending into the sky was like, whoa. But the thing about it was, even though they were working on my car, it was almost like we were indoors. It wasn't like we were outside. You know, it was one of those things where when he ascended in the sky, it's like he went through the wall, but he didn't actually go through that ceiling. Rather, it was more so he turned into that action figure. And I thought it was really telling that the action figure would be a woman, because he was so intent on getting the WNBA off the ground, he and Gigi. You know what I mean? They were so intent on taking the WNBA to the next level, and I was aware of that. You know what I mean? So I wasn't surprised to a degree that his action figure turned into a black girl. And it wasn't Gigi, it was just a black girl in Laker uniform, you know what I mean? And I just thought that spoke to what ultimately he was really about. And that's why I felt it was really him. That's why I felt the dream was really him, man. Because if anything, he knew I would come back and tell all of y'all about this. And so, yeah, man, really, really awesome. Good vibe dream. We were laughing. His voice would sound just like himself. You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing. Talking to him, sound just like him, looked just like him, but he was short. And I had to explain that to the man. But yeah, he left me $300,000. I wish he would have really left me $300,000 in real life, because that check sure looked real. Although I will admit, it was in my mother's handwriting. I will admit, I've seen my mom write so many checks, so I knew it was definitely her handwriting that I was looking at. But that's what it was, man. They were paying for the car and all the different stupid stuff that they were doing in my damn whip. So yeah, man, that was the gist of the dream. The Bobby Brown part was really cool too, because that dude looked young, spry, looked like old school Bobby Brown. And glad he's still living. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And I think one of the people in that New York Cypher bathroom one-liner thing was Joe Budden. I think he was one of them dudes. He was one of them. I'm sure of that. It was like 7 of them. And they would all say their little slogan and then walk out the bathroom. I'm so-and-so. We go hard where I'm from. And then they walk out. Yeah, I'm so-and-so. We don't take no mess or something. It was just like a real satire of the New York vibe, man. And it was just kind of funny. It was like, this is what's taking place in between Hardhead showing up, or rather Thick Skull showing up. So it was just very, very funny. The whole dream was funny. Both dreams was funny. And the part that I'm leaving out, it makes it even funnier when you consider the nickname. But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. I wanted to share that with y'all. Hopefully that made y'all feel as warm as the dream made me feel. And it's still about 5:30 in the morning, so I'm definitely going back to sleep. I do not expect Kobe to return, but I do feel like he came down to me in my dream tonight to holler at your boy and laugh a little bit. So that's pretty much what it is, man. My name is BDF 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.